The forest slept under a blanket of moonlight. A chill hung heavy in the air. It was autumn. Leaves crunched underfoot. The scent of damp earth filled the air. Deep within this forest stood an ancient mansion. It was shrouded in shadow. Its stone walls were crumbling. Vines, like skeletal fingers, reached up its sides. The windows were dark, hollow eyes staring out into the night. This was not a place for the living. It was a place of whispers and shadows, a place where the past clung to the present. Some said the mansion was cursed, others whispered of a haunting. But all agreed it was a place of sorrow. The mansion stood as a monument to a love lost, a love that death itself couldn't extinguish. The wind howled through the trees, carrying a mournful sound. It was the sound of the past crying out to be heard. The moonlight cast an eerie glow upon the mansion. The shadows danced and shifted as if alive. It was a night for secrets, a night for the past to come alive. The old folks in the nearby village spoke of the mansion in hushed tones. They told tales of a young couple who once lived there. Their love was legendary, but their happiness was short-lived. Tragedy struck, claiming the life of the young woman. The man was inconsolable. He was consumed by grief. Driven to madness, they said, he took his own life. He couldn't bear to live without his beloved. The villagers whispered that their souls were bound to the mansion. They were trapped there, forever searching for each other in the darkness. Some dismissed the stories as mere superstition, but others knew better. They had seen the lights flickering in the dead of night. They had heard the mournful cries echoing through the forest. The mansion held a dark secret. It was a place of sorrow and longing. The villagers avoided the mansion. It was a place of bad memories and lingering sadness. They knew better than to disturb the spirits that resided within. For some wounds even time cannot heal, and some loves even death cannot sever. Evelyn had always been drawn to the unknown. She had a thirst for adventure, a longing to uncover the mysteries that lay hidden beneath the surface of everyday life. So when she heard the stories of the haunted mansion, she felt a pull. It was an irresistible urge to see for herself. Tonight, under the pale glow of the autumn moon, she stood before its imposing gates. A shiver ran down her spine. The air around the mansion felt heavy. It was as though the weight of sorrow pressed down upon her. Taking a deep breath, Evelyn pushed open the creaking gates and stepped inside. The overgrown path was swallowed by darkness. Shadows danced around her as she walked. The only sound was the crunch of dead leaves under her feet. She could feel her heart pounding in her chest. Fear was a living thing, coiling around her throat. As she neared the mansion, a cold wind swept through the trees. It whispered her name, sending a chill down her spine. Evelyn stopped, her breath catching in her throat. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. Evelyn stepped across the threshold of the mansion. The air inside was cold and still. Dust motes danced in the faint moonlight that filtered through the grimy windows. Cobwebs hung from every corner. The stench of decay filled her nostrils. She moved cautiously through the darkness. Her fingers traced the outline of a grand staircase. Its once polished wood was now rough and splintered. Portraits of strangers stared down at her from the walls. Their eyes seemed to follow her every move. Suddenly, a flicker of movement caught her eye. At the top of the stairs, two figures shimmered into view. They were translucent, almost invisible in the dim light, but Evelyn could make out a man and a woman. They were young and beautiful, their features etched with a profound sadness. The man wore a tattered suit. His hair was long and unkempt. The woman was dressed in a flowing white gown. Her long dark hair cascaded over her shoulders. They stood close together, their hands intertwined. Their eyes were fixed on each other, and in that gaze, Evelyn saw a love that transcended death itself.